Hi everyone, really exciting video here today where I'm going to give you the unboxing of Rome Total War, the Battle Play expansion. It's been long awaited from CCC Games but has finally arrived just in my hands today. This is the box. It's looking absolutely fantastic. Just want to give you a chance to take a look at that. Really love the quality of it. Feels really nice. So you can see on the back that it tells you a little bit about what's inside and how it all kind of works, why it's really important. It's not necessary as part of playing Rome Total War, but it definitely adds to it. And yet to play it still, but certainly as a backer taking a look and following this process for a long time, I think it's an absolute must. You can see some of the components that are inside, but ultimately we want to know if that's what it looks like on the inside. So let's just get into it, shall we? And oh, really tightly fit. Not the worst thing, to be honest. Right, so let's see what we can pull out here that will be really interesting to look at. I think what's really great is just taking a look at some of the cards that we've got here. So I'll give you an opportunity to look at some of these cards. Just lay some of those out here so you can see the front, you can see the back. Just give you a sense of what those cards really look like there, and want to lay out a quick selection of them. So these are the tactic cards which come within the set, and as you can see, as you move along these cards, I really love the bordering here. It's kind of marbled, and then they've got some really great illustrations, which are very thematic. You'll also notice at the bottom here is that they've got little, it's not quotations because it's not real, but it's little lines that it might be said by some of the generals that are trying to actually use some of these tactics. This little bit of flavour actually came in the production process, and it was backers hounding Simon Hall, the designer, and he actually managed to put them in, and I think it really adds to the thematic nature of the cards. So this one, for example, a skilled terrain user. Let's see what this one says. Anchor the line on the wooded hill, deny them that flank. So nice and thematic. What you'll also notice if you look at these here is that when it's making reference to any of the components, it's got a different font. So in this case, it's the green dye that it's referring to. Let me give you another example in here. Yeah, this is a good one. Play to cancel a devastating charge card. So this is referring to another one of these cards here. It's talking about infantry main battle cards. So again, it's making reference to what's kind of going on in terms of the in terms of the actual components that it's using. So that's really great. So as soon as you are reading along and you come to the different font, you go, right, where's that component? So you can actually take a look, and I really like that. Let's take a look at what this flavor text says. So, and so they stumble into our cunning plan. That's the hidden pits. So I think that these are a really great addition. Need to see how they actually work in practice, but some really nice cards here. In terms of the quality of the card itself, I guess it is a little bit kind of flimsy. It's okay. It's definitely not the best quality card. I think these could quite easily start getting bent. The other thing is that you're probably not likely to use them too much. You're not going to sit with them in your hand all game, moving them backwards and forwards. So at the same time, it's maybe something that you're going to be able to get away with. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Moving on, let's take a look at the rule book for the expansion. And I've got a nice, great graphic. I believe that's from Rome 2 Total War. Just couldn't really get into that. It just didn't have the same appeal to me as the original. But taking a look, again, I've not actually played the game, so I can't tell you if this is actually any good in terms of the way that the rules are laid out. But what we can see here is, I'm just going to appraise it in terms of the way that it's laid out. It's making reference to all of the different components. I think it's nice and clear. It's got some great examples. Really love seeing those examples, because that's the thing that's going to really bring it to life for you. I think the other thing as well is just the way that it's layered in terms of having some of the artwork from the game, as well as some of the background images there. So a really nice and engaging rulebook, that's for sure. So you're not going to get bored having to take a look through it. So really looking forward to getting into that and getting a chance to do some of the battle play. And this is something that you can actually play even if you're not playing the full game. So you can just pull this out and actually have some battles. And so that's the great thing about this, is it's kind of a standalone game in itself, provided that you've got the original cards there in the core box. So just something for you to keep in mind. Next thing that we've got in here is the actual battle map itself. What you'll see is its rows that are laid out much like battle lines. Let me show you how this works. Here we go. So this is really nice. You've got the emblem in the center. I don't know how it looks to you. I think it blends in pretty well into the background. Maybe you're getting a different picture from me. What I really love about the texturing that they've gone for in terms of the terrain here is that it's kind of a combination between that muddy and earthy and slightly green and yet slightly yellow sort of color, so that you can kind of believably think that this is just kind of a dirty, muddy grass, or perhaps that it's an arid ground, that it's maybe just a little bit of earth in it there. So it really allows your imagination to take over just in the way that you want it to. You've also got the numbers along here. I was worried that they might feel a little bit distracting, but actually I think they're okay. I think they're absolutely okay. And so I'm not too worried about that. I think that's going to overlay really, really nicely. Next thing I probably want to show you is some of the terrain pieces here. And this is, it's so fresh that I haven't even popped them out yet. So here's the first set of terrain pieces, and what you can see is this is wooded areas and then grassy hills, as well as a border as well. There's the back of it, just in case you're interested. And as we go here, I'm going to start popping some of these out. What you'll do is you'll be taking these terrain pieces and they'll be going onto the map. I'm not entirely sure exactly how that works yet. I'm going to need to go in and study how that works, how we put terrain onto the board. And I know that you can move it around as well. Let me get some of these pieces over here so you can have a look. And again, I think that these are really good. They're really thematic. This time, some of the colouring, it's kept neutral enough that you can believe that it's in any kind of terrain. You've got the numbers on it as well. I don't think it interferes with the experience. It doesn't interfere with my immersion. In fact, what it does is it harkens back to the feeling of what the actual game itself was like. And I guess ultimately that's what this is trying to do. It's trying to make you feel like you're playing the game, not necessarily feel like you're actually out there conducting a battle itself. So that's a really interesting dilemma that Simon's come up against, and I think that they've designed it in a really way, and it's pretty nice. The next thing I'm going to draw your attention to here is some of the more arid terrain. So you can see the more desert and then some of the sand dunes that you could be standing on. So again, these can go in. I don't know if there'll be any interaction between these, that you can actually use them all at the same time. Maybe, maybe not. Again, I'll put some of these out so you can actually see them. And again, quite believable, I think, in terms of the way that it looks. The only thing about this that actually disappoints me a bit is actually these blood tokens. And the reason why it disappoints me is that I've got something that feels like a real battle map in many respects. You know, I feel like a general's kind of just wheeled this out and he's using it as a way to make sense of what's going on in the battlefield. And then all of a sudden you've then got these black tokens with red droplets on them, just pure red droplets, and that are representing wounds. And I just think it interferes with my sense of immersion. So I feel like they're just a little bit cheap. It makes it feel a little bit more arcadey. It makes it very much feel much more like... One thing I wanted to add in here is just with the components, there aren't any trays in this at all. So once you pop all the components out, you just dump them into the main box, and nice and simple storage solution. Them getting mixed up is not so much of an issue, but the problem that you've got there then is that they're just going to sit loose inside of it. So that's where you've got the potential that you could start damaging some of the components. So it would be really nice if there was just little bags to hold them in with, so you don't get that in the main game. I think I'll be getting some of my kind of zip bags out and keeping them in. One, just to keep them organised, and two, just to keep them safe. That's the main thing. So a little bit disappointed with that, but they look kind of hardy themselves, so I wouldn't worry that they'll get absolutely decimated. But certainly if you're travelling with this, if you were to drop it, then it's going to be an absolute nightmare. Without putting any kind of bags in, then you're not going to be in here. So I can see myself having a lot of fun with the battle plate. The map is fantastic. The terrain tiles are looking great. The cards are adding a lot of extra flavour, and you can definitely see how it is that they have favoured more the readability of the cards. But there's also a little bit of flavour text in here. I'm going to read this one. We must secure the high ground or die. Follow me! So that's take the hill. So there's a nice hill sitting there. So that would be a great one to deploy in this battlefield. I can see myself having a lot of fun with this. I guess the only thing is the quality of the cards not that great, so just be very careful with them. You might want to sleeve them, but I don't think you'll actually use them too much. You're not going to have them out all the time, and so they can take a little bit of a battering. But these tokens, not feeling very thematic for me, but they're there just to serve a purpose, and I think that they'll do that perfectly fine. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Please take the time to like and subscribe if you want to see more Rome Total War content. Right, thanks.